What's going on, everyone? We're getting ready to go on a 600-mile road trip. We're heading out to Buffalo. It is the first part of December. We don't have any snow on the ground here, but we're having lake effect snow squalls today and probably most of the week. There's a chance that we're going to run into some bad weather on the trip on I-90 westbound. So I'm giving the 4Runner a quick once over. I like to use this Rain-X window washer fluid because it makes the glare go away. So if you wear glasses like I do, and especially at night, it makes the glare go away. And also if you lose a wiper for whatever reason, you stand a chance of driving your vehicle without windshield wipers using the Rain-X. So I'm a firm believer in the Rain-X. So let's talk a little bit about our vehicle. It's a 2024 Toyota 4Runner. It's obviously four-wheel drive, and it's a pretty capable vehicle. And I'm running these all-terrain Toyo open country AT tires. And the one unique thing about these tires that you don't find on all tires is they have the 3 peaks symbol, and that means they are a winter rated mud and snow tire. So that's important to have that. Unless you're going to run dedicated snow tires or maybe even studded snow tires, this is the next best thing. As you can see by the flag behind me, it's a little bit windy today. It's only about 30 degrees out. So let's go inside. We'll check out some of the other gear that we're going to travel with. And should we run into any snow squalls, traffic accidents, backups, hopefully we'll be prepared. Let's go inside and check that out. All right, let's talk about the most important part first. Food and snacks. Every road trip needs food and snacks. Angela and I ditched the regular ice cooler a couple years ago, and we have this Bouge RV fridge. And although it's not the biggest fridge out there, it does work really well for our needs. It's big enough that you could pre-make sandwiches, you could keep cold cuts, you could keep whatever it is that you need to keep cold, water even, but not really a deal breaker in the wintertime because it's not that hard to keep things cold in the wintertime, but in the summertime, this is a lifesaver. It runs off a 12 volt, or you can have it run off of 110. We actually took this on a trip maybe a year or two ago, loaded it all up with our food and drinks, and then we stayed at an Airbnb, and instead of unloading it and bringing it into the Airbnb, we just switched the power cords from 12 volt to 110, and then we just carried this right inside, put it in the kitchen, plugged it in, and it worked great for 2 days. When we were done, we just unplugged it, brought it out, put it in the car, plugged it back into 12 volt power. So works pretty seamlessly, and you don't have to deal with ice, you don't have to deal with water, you don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. So highly recommend the refrigerator instead of the cooler. But you gotta have road snacks. All right, so the other thing we take is a portable power station. This just gives us the option to charge our cell phones away from the vehicle, and I know this is a little overkill for cell phones. We also do carry this jump start pack. This jump start pack also has a USB-C port, so we can use this to charge our cell phones on a smaller scale. We can also use this battery pack to recharge this one if we need to, and this battery pack will also run the fridge. If we need power, this portable power station just gives us a few more options than if we didn't have anything. This jump start pack is great because jumper cables are great to have. However, if you have one of these, you don't need anybody else to help you. So if for whatever reason your battery goes dead, all you have to do is plug in the battery clamps, positive and a negative, turn it on, wait 30 seconds, and it'll fire up your vehicle, or at least it should. As far as safety goes, we have your pretty standard first aid kit. I've swapped out most of the stuff that was in here for items that I was more familiar with using. You're gonna have your standard bandaging supplies, your gauze pads. We've got a tourniquet in there, pressure dressing, some tape, gauze rolls. There's a pair of scissors in there. There's also a knife in there. If you grab this out of the vehicle, this will have most everything that you need. There's also a CPR mask in here, that type of stuff. So there's a lot in this little kit, and it's kind of set up so that you just grab this and go. We also carry a handful of these 6-inch glow sticks. It's a calcium stick. You open up the package and you snap it, and they should last for about 12 hours. These are good if you're stuck in your vehicle and you need some light. You can crack one of these open, put it up on the visor, and to give you a little light inside the vehicle. Or if you have to walk along the roadway or the highway, you can, put it in your coat or stick it in your hat or do whatever so that people can see that you're walking on the highway. Some of the other gear you might want to carry is clothing. This jacket here has a fleece liner that you can zip out, and then the outer shell is waterproof. If you get stuck on the side of the road, this is going to give you quite a bit of protection, and not to mention it's got the high vis. I'm not really a high vis guy, but it does have some benefits when you're out on the roadway. So a high vis coat would be beneficial to keep with you in your car, or maybe even just a vest. And although it's winter out and you're probably dressed for it, you're not dressed to be out it for a long time. And I usually have to wear a hat for obvious reasons, but I also have this hat. This is my holy cow, is it cold out hat. And when the going gets tough, this is a good hat to have, especially when it's windy out. You might look a little weird, but you're going to be warm. The other thing is gloves. So you'll probably have a pair of gloves with you if you're traveling in the winter. But what about a pair of gloves that are waterproof and insulated? And so these are the gloves I like to have. They're lined, so they're pretty warm, and then the outer portion of them is coated in rubber. So when you put these gloves on, not only are they grippy and you can grab stuff, they're I'll call them water resistant. They're not waterproof, but if you have to be down on the ground changing a tire or you are doing whatever, these are going to give you some pretty good protection from cold, wet hands. And then another piece of specialized equipment that I like to carry, and this is for when things get really bad. These are tire chains for your feet. You never know where you're going to be. And tire chains for your boots or shoes. Not a bad option to have. They come in this little pouch and they don't take up any room. Let's go outside of the 4Runner and kind of show you what I got going on out there, some of the equipment that I have, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that I usually take with me. All right, so everything back here except for the sweatshirt is going to go away. That's all my fire department stuff. So what I'll do is I'll take that out. The refrigerator and all of our travel bags and stuff will go in here. As far as the tools that we carry, so I usually take this Milwaukee air compressor just in case we get a low tire. It runs on a standard 18-volt battery. I also take my Milwaukee impact gun. It's an M12, and if we have to change a tire, this just makes life a little bit easier. We do have the Toyota jack and lug wrench in there. That just makes life just a little bit easier. Over here we got our fire department radio, that'll go away. And then in here we've got a fire extinguisher. We've got another first aid kit. This is the one I carry in this vehicle all the time. You can see I got the tourniquet out and readily available on this one. In here we've got we've got another first aid kit right here. This one is one that came with the vehicle, but I did the same thing I did with the other kit. I took a lot of stuff out, and then in here is basically just Band-Aids and just stuff so you don't have to open that kit. Right there, we've got our Midland 15-watt GMRS radio. We've got two 12-volt outlets. One is for the radio, one is for this in-vehicle charger for my portable radio. But we got plenty of power back here. We also have an inverter back here that we use to power our fridge and other gizmos. One of the things I made with this 4Runner is this faux storage box, and it's only about 4 inches deep or so, but you can carry a lot of gear in here. 100 feet of rope that I can use for different applications. This is the box that I keep the jump start pack in. And in here I also got some fuses, Gorilla Tape, who doesn't love Gorilla Tape, a dry pair of socks, heavy duty trash bags, a tire repair kit. Over here we got a spare sweatshirt. You got to clean your windshield. We got some glass cleaning stuff, CPR mask, some regular lashing straps. Nothing too fancy, but you never know what you might need to lash down, or maybe you got to tie your hood down, secure a door or window, I don't know, whatever, but just some lashing straps, a winter hat, a couple rags. This is just a piece of webbing that you can use for any number of different applications. This is a funny one. This is a bath mat, and if you ever try to change your shoes or change your clothes, it's just nice to have a place to step on that's not wet maybe. Got a headlamp here, just your standard basic Amazon headlamp, nothing fancy. This is my boonie hat for the rain. We got this big honking tool kit that I bought years ago, made by Crescent. And it's got just a bunch of hand tools in here that, you know, screwdrivers, Allen wrenches, Torx bits, sockets, pliers. Hopefully we don't need any of this. Over here, this is just a regular toolkit. Another headlamp, some loose screwdrivers, pair of pliers, a hammer, some electrical tape. This is something that probably will never use, but man, if you ever need it, this little saw might come in handy. You also have some more webbing, and I just stow it inside this latex glove. We got a bow shackle. Back underneath here, just some loose paper towels. And this thing here is a kinetic rope with a couple of soft shackles in case we got to tow or be towed. And this one here is a 3/4 inch and rated at 19,000 pounds, made in the USA. So that's pretty good. So 2 soft shackles and a 20-foot kinetic rope. Probably should have got the 30-footer, but hopefully the 20 would be enough. So I got some loose zip ties, just in case. That's pretty much the gear that's in the back of my 4Runner. In addition to everything that I already showed you, this is the stuff that I drive around with all the time. So in addition to the headlamp, I have these lights that, you know, it's pretty standard work light. It comes in pretty handy, and I can recharge it either from the vehicle or from the power pack or whatever. Same thing with this light. This is a standard flashlight. Throws a pretty bright beam, and then it also has this feature, so you can open it up. It's also magnetic, so you can stick it right to your vehicle. If you're changing a tire, you can stick it right there, lighten up your work area. I usually keep it right in the door pocket right there. I also have one of these hammers in case you got to cut your seatbelt or break the glass to get out of your vehicle. I got one of these. When you get inside the vehicle, I have my GMRS radio here. I got my CB radio here. This is the Radiodity one-hander. I think it's a CS47. And my cell phone holder right there. I got a GoPro camera mount right there. I have a VHF radio right here. This is for the fire department. We also have our drone dash camera, which may or may not come in handy. When we look at the antennas for the CB radio and the GMRS radio, we have the President Virginia right here in the middle of the roof. That's a 1/4 wave CB antenna. Then we have the 1/4 wave UHF antenna for the GMRS. And then down here on the fender, I have my antenna for my VHF radio. So pretty low profile considering there's 3 antennas up there. Seems to work. Those 3 antennas work pretty good. Some of the other things I travel with, which probably everybody does, is 2 credit cards and cash. I always take cash with me. Cash is still king. And we were actually traveling not so long ago and my credit card got hacked. They froze my credit card and then I was done in the water. So thankfully I had Angela with me. She had a credit card that worked, and I did have a little bit of cash. But so from that point on, I always have 2 credit cards and cash, and hopefully no problems. Things I don't have that maybe I should have. I don't carry any extra gas. So depending on the weather conditions, I typically don't let my gas tank go below half a tank in the wintertime. And if we're traveling, if it's snowing and the roads are pretty bad, that will probably hold true, and I'll stop and get gas more often at rest areas along the way. I don't have any way to store extra gas. I could buy a can and strap it to the roof, I guess, or even put it inside if it was a good quality can, but I don't have that available to me right now. I also don't carry any spare parts. I don't carry any spare belts. I don't carry any spare parts, anything like that. The 4Runner has less than 20,000 miles on it, so I'm not really worried about parts, but it could happen, and I just don't have any parts. I also don't have any road triangles or cones of any sort. Should we break down on the road, I really don't have any way of marking us, so we're going to rely on the hazards. The other thing I don't have is tire chains. I'm pretty confident in my 4Runner. I'm pretty confident in the tires that are on the 4Runner. I'm pretty confident of my driving ability and my decision making. And I feel like I'm pretty good without tire chains. I haven't needed them yet, but it might be something worth purchasing. They're relatively inexpensive and can really make a big difference. The last thing I don't have that maybe I should is a heated blanket. We have all this power. We have the power station, we have the power pack, we have the 4Runner itself, but we don't have a heated blanket. So if we have to spend the night in the 4Runner, I feel like a heated blanket would be a pretty nice feature to have. This is the blanket that's usually in my 4Runner, and I have to wash it before our trip because this usually is the one the dogs ride on, but we'll get that cleaned up and ready to go. If you made it to the end of the video, you are better than most. I appreciate you. Maybe if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And also leave a comment. Maybe you travel with a piece of equipment or something that I didn't cover, or maybe haven't even ever thought of. Share your thoughts with me and with anybody else that might be watching. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.